My name is Gleeman, and uh, this is going to be the start of our new podcast, present company included. And I'm here with Teddy Grizz and Rhino Rocks.
Hey, that's me and Rhino Rocks. I know those names.
We may be famous or something.
Whoa, really? That'd be
Could
weird.
be.
Okay. Uh,
I guess I'll go. I'm Rhino. I do online music, and occasionally I do reacts and community things.
and I'm Teddy Grizz. I do political and cultural reactions as well as some AI music video reactions and mostly just whatever I want. I just like to have fun on my channel, so I make videos about whatever interests me that day.
Oh, and I should probably mention what I do. I do breakdowns of music videos, as well as some commentary on philosophical, theological stuff, as well as a few lore videos.
I guess before we start, can we give like an introduction to how familiar we all are with the Odyssey itself, like the Odyssey, the Iliad, things like that? Just
Sure.
Greek stories as a whole.
Sure.
Seems like a good place to start.
Gleeman, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, yeah. I am very much familiar with the source material. I've read both the Iliad and the Odyssey. Um, both it's been quite a long time, but I still remember quite a bit of it. I've also seen plenty of adaptations of the story in various mediums, as well as I'm familiar with Nolan and his work, and I'm also aware of several of the changes that are being made to this movie.
As far as the Iliad, forgive me, and the Odyssey, and the Aeneid, which is the follow-up that came quite a bit later as almost a rebuttal to it, I'm pretty familiar, and as well as many of the spin-offs, my personal favorite being "O Brother, Where Art Thou," which a lot of people don't even realize is a recreation of the Odyssey, in
Hmm.
a sort of a pseudo-modern context. And I think it does, as far as a traditional Greek style story, it really does stand out with all of the traditional moral values of the time and the storytelling way they went about things back then of showing how the gods would intervene with people in their own way as a hands-on, at least by comparison to today, much more hands-on than we would expect from, quote unquote godlike figures.
Sounds like I did a pretty good job in picking a video for us to react to today. I thought that the two of you would have a lot to say about this one, so I'm I think this is going to be fun. As for me, I'm fairly certain in high school I had to read the abridged version of uh, the Odyssey. I'm pretty sure it might have just been part of the abridged version that we read though, and that's about that's about all that I have of like actual experience with the Iliad, the Odyssey, and Homer's works. That being said, I'm very familiar with some of the tropes and stuff in it, and some of like the monsters and stuff involved. Um, Big into fantasy games and stuff. You can't really get through fantasy games without seeing some of the stuff that's inspired directly from Homer's works.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely a almost like a cultural zeitgeist that just refuses to die. Because even in cleaning products, the reason Ajax is stronger than grease is a reference to the Odyssey. I mean, it just lives on whether people intentionally know it or not. Um,
Well, you mean the Iliad?
yeah, sorry. I mean, they are continuations of the same thing.
True.
I'm glad you said Ajax because I swore as you started talking about cleaning products, you were gonna start talking about Mr. Clean. I don't know why. I'm like, well, how is Mr. Clean gonna be related to this at all? I didn't realize that Ajax was a reference to something from
Yeah,
the Iliad.
that's the marketing ploy. Somebody in their marketing team was very well read. Ajax, stronger than Greece, because he was arguably, or at least comparatively, known at the time as one of the strongest fighters that they had available.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, well, I learned something already. This podcast has already been a success in my eyes.
And we haven't even started the video.
True, true. All right.
We're some nerds.
Yep. So we all have control over the video. We can start it whenever you guys feel we're ready. Then go for it.
I'm ready.
Oh,
Hit play. There's a beautiful green background we had there. Very fancy Universal.
Tell me what you remember.
But life?
okay, so I'm pausing here at 19. Um, so it looks like we are going to be starting like right at the end of um, the Battle of Troy, which is where the Iliad ends.
That's
Um,
what I think as well, because of the destroyed ships. There is a part of it where the people of Troy, it may be during, because there was a portion where the men of Troy came out and sacked the ships to prevent a retreat. It wasn't complete, if I remember right, but essentially it was a demoralization tactic of now we're stuck here on this beach. Like
yeah.
further context needed.
And then we're also seeing Penelope, Odysseus's wife, which is who will be played by Anne Hathaway. I don't mind that casting, actually.
No, not at all. Anne Hathaway is always a welcome sight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A son.
Oh my gosh. Was that Spider-Man?
Oh my-
We got Spidey-Man in here? That was Tom
yeah.
Holland, right?
Yes, that was Tom Holland.
And then
I
it cut
didn't
right into
realize
the
that
sack
Tom
of
Holland
Troy.
was gonna be in this.
As well as Zendaya.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess they are kind of a package pair these days.
Now, I didn't know about Charlize Theron being in here. That is interesting. I'm wondering who she plays.
Who is Charlize Theron?
She is. Da, 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 da.
We won the war.
Oh, so she is. Let me see if I can pull us back. I think she was right after Tom Holland. Yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
at 26. So this is Charlize Theron. You might know her from Mad Max.
It
No, wait.
it doesn't update my screen unless it actually hits play. So when you scan through, like I still see
Oh,
the image that it was on.
Yeah, I
okay.
still see Odysseus with the burning background.
There we go. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. We are learning how this works.
This is a leering endeavor.
We're Lear all day.
So anyway, you probably will recognize her for her role in like the that one Snow White movie. She was the evil queen. Oh, what else was she in? She's done quite a few stuff, and I'm not doing her filmography justice by
Well,
bringing up Snow White.
well, I don't recognize her at
I'm not
all,
gonna look
actually. But I didn't watch the Snow White movie, so um, I suppose that's
Well,
fair.
yeah, Mad Max, Fury Road.
Oh,
She was in
Fury
that.
Road. Ooh, it's been a
Yep,
long time since I watched Fury Road.
she was Furiosa. Um,
Oh, okay.
She's an excellent choice if you want a like very stable, like solid actress who can kind of come in for a variety role. If you're not sure who you want, like style wise, she's a really good catch-all. Like you're never going to be disappointed when she shows up.
yeah, she has a very strong presence to her, so that helps.
So I will say so far, I went into this with the assumption that I was not going to be very pleased with just about anything that I saw coming from this movie. I've seen a lot of I know some of the casting choices that I that I just definitely disagree with. So that's definitely a thing. But so far from this trailer, we're only at the 27-second mark or whatever. Um, but so far, I'm not angry at Tom Holland. I actually like Tom Holland as an actor, and the shots so far have seemed like, I mean, it's Christopher Nolan, so of course it's going to be high production, high budget. You're going to
Yep.
have some really cinematic shots. So
He
far
does
it's
great
looking pretty
close-ups.
good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
His ability to place somebody in like an appropriate background and make them look epic. Like even this picture of Charlize Theron under torchlight looks impressive.
oh yeah, and this is appropriate lighting. Apparently, she is going to be playing Calypso.
Oh, okay.
And for the layman's that don't spend their time reading ancient books, Calypso is
Cal- okay, so Calypso is the daughter of Titans, who was banished to an island and essentially uh, cursed to remain there. And I might be mixing up my mythologies here, but uh, she is cursed to have lovers sent to her who can never remain with her. She is destined to fall in love with them, and then they will leave her,
I believe
essentially.
she's the one who told Odysseus, and I could be mixing her up with someone else because the cast of the Odyssey is quite vast. She was the one who told Odysseus that his journey wouldn't be over until he had reached a land where the men eat their plates, which I've always thought was an interesting reference to pizza because it's always assumed that Odysseus had landed in Italy. It's always been kind of a meme, but it was a thing that was mentioned that he would know that he was home when he reached a land where men ate their plates. And there was always a sort of assumption that early pizza, eating bread with toppings, in its most primitive forms was
Hmm.
to be pizza. And when he reached Italy and seen that, he knew that he was essentially home.
that's an interesting
It's theory
tidbit.
crafting, but it's something that I enjoy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I, I honestly don't remember that detail, but that's hilarious. Okay, we good to go?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
go for it.
And then
We won the war.
you have the sacking of Troy with the Trojan horse.
That
Even
may be
I caught that
Agamemnon
one.
there. It's hard to say, but that might be their representation of Agamemnon as the leader.
Let me go back here. Yeah,
Because
that definitely is because I remember he's in a better lit scene. Probably not in this trailer, but in the teaser, and his helmet is atrocious. It doesn't look Greek at all.
Not a vibe.
It looks very modern, like space
Oh, okay. So
armor.
they took some liberties, not
Yeah,
historically in mind.
yeah. Kind of pulls you out of the immersion just a little bit.
It's a little bit tricky to tell in this lighting, but he almost reminds me more of like a Holy Roman Empire knight with the way the armor style is. Like it's very bulky and it's not, while they did wear armor in the time of the Greeks, it was much lighter and it was much more form fitting. The main concept of what you wanted in the old Greek style armor was the phalanx was generally what we know of as their fighting formation, although that wasn't all of it. But the idea that your chest would be protected while your waistline was generally considered open for mobility, and the people next to you with their shields was what would protect you. So
Hmm.
this is actually, even though they did have some types of heavy armor, this was quite a standout.
Yeah. Um, and as you were saying, like the amount of effort that it would take to be wearing this at this time, um, uh, simply making it, because this was the Bronze Age we're talking about, and we're looking at like full on steel
Hmm.
armor here. The amount of effort that would have uh, been used to make this one set of armor.
It in reality, it would have been a uh, like a leather baldric across the chest, leaving most of the lower torso open. With if you were going to have plates in it, it would have been copper discs or rings, most likely, that were kind of in the leather or strapped to it, almost like a rounded brigandine.
Something akin to what we see in the movie Troy with
Actually,
Agamemnon's.
yes, that's actually the Troy, which the Brad Pitt one, which
Hmm.
is kind of a meme, but the armor style that they had is fairly close. I mean, there is some liberties taken with historical accuracy there, but it's not the worst depiction I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, from what I've seen of some of the other like screenshots of the movie, this is not the most liberty that they take with armor.
Oh dear.
Oh, really?
I'm going to reserve judgment until I see it. I'm a bit of a history and arms and armor nerd. So
Okay.
I might, there may be something there that, it just kind of looks off, but it does make sense, history's weird like that.
Okay.
But I'll reserve judgment till I see it.
I was gonna say that like it it's hard to see in this lighting, as you had said, but if you took off the feathered like headdress portion of the helmet,
Mhm.
I could see this being in like a Mandalorian, like a Star Wars.
Actually, yeah, I can see that.
Yep.
I see where you're going with that. And they did have heavy troops, not usually for invasions like this, usually for um, ground advancements, climbing walls and things like that. They would actually have a bonus that the first men up on the walls would give, and it was usually in the form of either a guaranteed promotion, and the people who wanted to do it would be volunteers beforehand, that they would get either a massive sum of money equivalent to 1 or 2 years pay as a soldier for being the first men over the walls, or it would be a guaranteed like notice of promotion, like you were the first one over the walls and you face the enemy, so we're going to move you up slightly. Even if it isn't a super tangible promotion, it was still a promotion of merit.
I feel
And
like
the
most
men who did that would wear much heavier plating up the ladders.
I feel like most often they never had to give those sacks of gold or those promotions to those people because the first one over and facing the brunt of the enemy is likely going to be dead by the end of the battle.
Yes, but for a young soldier, being that guy over the wall and proving yourself had huge career benefits because when you signed up for uh, the Roman military being the most known example, your enlistment term was 20 years. It wasn't like a modern military where you sign up for 5 years and then you're done. It was you signed up for a career, and unless you were wounded or couldn't complete your job in a certain way, that's just what you did. And then you got, I believe it was 20 acres of land as your retirement.
I'll take 20 acres. That'd be great.
Yeah,
That
not a
would
bad
be
deal.
really nice.
I
And
don't
it
want
worked
to
out for
go
them. They
over a
very
wall.
rarely had to give it.
I don't want to climb over a wall and fight a bunch of enemies, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Especially
I
not in
think
the
that would be pretty cool.
warfare at that time, though, is brutal. The amount of people that didn't even die from like actual combat, but died from the
Gangrene
infections and
and
diseases
Mhm.
afterwards. Single cut, and that's it. You're done, and you're gonna have a horrid death. Oh,
yep.
it is
Yeah.
brutal warfare.
All right, you want to
Yeah.
keep pushing?
Yep. Okay.
Help me go home.
This is a household waiting for mass.
Okay. I actually did not know he was going to be in here. Hmm.
Who is that? He looks super familiar, but I can't put a finger on it.
You probably remember him from Twilight.
Oh,
I would have had to have watched Twilight to remember him from Twilight.
Well, the Twilight promotions were everywhere. Just saying.
yeah. Listen,
Okay,
I'm
fair
Team
enough.
Dad. He was the only one in that whole thing who knew what a debaucherous nightmare that was and wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson. That's who
Yes,
it
thank
is.
you.
Um. Okay. So looking at how he's cast, uh, I'm going to butcher this name. Antinous.
I'm gonna
I
have
don't
to
know.
look that up. I'm not positive. The specific cast members from the Odyssey, he traveled to quite a few islands and met with quite a few people, so it's really hard to say.
Was because it's in the top cast, so I'm wondering if Antinous is the isn't he the suitor, like the one of the main suitors? Um,
Oh, that would actually make sense.
yeah,
It would be interesting to cast him as a villainous character, even though, Antinous is calling him a villain, it's, more of a product of its time, but
right. He is simply taking advantage of the
yeah,
absence of the king,
yeah.
essentially. So it's not necessarily his fault that he's trying to take an opportunity.
Yeah, and he definitely learned his lesson the hard way.
Just a little bit.
Uh,
But yeah.
can we talk about this outfit though? We have what looks like a leather jerkin, right?
Yep.
Hmm.
Underneath, we have a fur-lined uh top that almost kind of looks like a leather gamberson, which is very much out of place, as well as the fur trim on the collar. You would definitely not see that. And I know I'm being hard on like this. I'm gonna try to look at this as kind of like the 300, where it's a period piece, but it's more of a fantasy version of it. I don't think the goal of this is to be super historically accurate by what I'm seeing, but
Oh, No, it is not, and you'd be surprised. Nolan is not deriving this directly from the accurate Iliad versions that we have. He is deriving all of his adaptation from a modern feminist
Oh
translation
no.
of the Iliad.
Well, you know, we all make mistakes.
A pretty big one, though.
Yeah. I'm just looking at this outfit and like just historically, while they did have leather that they would have worn in outfits and especially with armor, leather was particularly good because it was robust and if it was cut, it could be sewn and you would weave plates into it. This top halberd, which looks like it's probably a pullover, would not be something that would have been worn. I honestly at pretty much any time period except for maybe late 15, early 1600s, like Italy, maybe like Southeastern European, they would have had something along these lines. And I don't know about this Gamberson type vest underneath. And I also there's that it almost looks like a blanket over his shoulder there on his left arm. It's kind of hard to tell what that is
Uh,
exactly.
Something like a shawl,
Yeah.
looks like, or a cape, maybe
It looks like
of the
he's
sort.
wearing a toga under his Gamberson and part of it is sticking out.
But what part are you
Yeah,
saying looks like a toga?
Look at
uh,
his left arm, and you'll see there's like a tan piece sticking out that almost looks like he's got a blanket peeking out of his armor,
See, you see a
like something
blanket. I
over his shoulder.
swear it looks like rubber hose. Like
I
it
thought
looks
so
like
too.
he's just got a loop of rubber hose that he's got around his shoulder,
It
draping down his
took me a
arm.
second to try and parse what that was supposed to be. My first thought
I
was tubing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it
I think
uh,
maybe the lighting's not
maybe
doing it any favor.
maybe this particular frame is just a bad frame. Maybe as it continues, we'll get a better view of it. But it's it's a
I
choice.
will, I will concur that the very first introductions into the wardrobe and outfits of the movie, Nolan is definitely not going for historical accuracy or even really like Greek. Um,
No,
uh,
it's like miles away.
yeah, he's going for something else. He has a different feel.
Like when you watch 300, it's not super historically accurate as far as the outfits go, but you can see where the inspiration came from. Like the vibe is there. This
Hmm.
doesn't scream ancient Greek to me at all. Like this
No,
doesn't scream. This is like almost French high fashion. Like
yeah, I
this
could see this in the Tudors,
yeah.
actually.
This looks like something a edgy French teenager would think is cool. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you look at his face, I don't know if it's CGI or what, but it almost looks like they took someone into the CGI dungeon after the fact and tried to correct the lighting, and it's just not killing it. I'm sure if it played quick, it wouldn't be super noticeable, but with a freeze frame, it really does look like a computer generated image of his face.
Well, so far, the whole thing looks fairly dull. Um,
Yeah,
just as far as lighting goes. I think Charlize was only complimented because of the firelight,
yeah.
um, and that might have been incidental.
This wasn't shot on location, was it? Like, this is an
I think
American studio somewhere. That they didn't go
I
anywhere
think
super.
some of it is on location though. This is Nolan we're talking about, so I think some of it was location.
Okay,
Can I ask?
Uh, the-
I'm totally unfamiliar with this actor though. You guys seem to have recognized it right away. Um, how do you feel about him and his acting abilities in this role?
actually, uh, the role he's known for is probably some of his worst work, Twilight. was just a horrible piece of content to try and adapt into a movie. But as an actor, he's actually fairly strong.
Yes, he is.
Um,
His
I'd
his
actually
most
like to see him get into more stuff.
his most recent roles, or like one of the more prominent roles that he had, was he was Bruce Wayne in the Batman,
Yes.
and he did a very good job.
It was kind of slept on, honestly, for what it was, but there was quite a bit of like DC and Marvel fatigue at the time, so it just kind of got swept under the rug.
Yeah,
Also, he's quite a good blues singer too, if you're not familiar with that side of his work.
I am not. I didn't know that. Interesting.
He's part of quite a good like blues southern rock band. I can't remember their name at the time, but it's actually not half bad.
All right. But
Okay.
are we ready to move on? Criticize some more
Yes.
fashion.
Uh,
I want you to choose me.
Okay. Thank you for pausing because the first thing I was going to say is that feast hall actually looks great. That's the best thing I've seen from this
I
movie so
want you to
far. Like the lighting is correct, that open top kind of dome look. Let me back up just a smidge to that wide shot. Sorry, I'm going to try and fight to get it where I need it to be so y'all can see.
No worries.
There we go. Like the long row tables, um, they look excellent. You've got the correct type of wine vases. Uh, they have a special name for these feast halls. This looks more like a Viking style feast hall. The way it's sort of open and it's kind of like a
that's
shotgun house. You would have like one large door in the
yeah.
back and one large door on the other side.
That's what I was thinking too.
But I mean, for the period, this is fairly correct. It's also where "Don't put your elbows on the table" kind of comes from because they didn't have legs for tables. They were on a T stand, so if you leaned on them, they would tip. But everything about this, the clothing, actually, it's hard to tell because there's a lot of mix matching going on, but it seems fairly period appropriate, or at least somewhat close to what common people of the time would wear. This is
Again,
actually
it's
quite
really
a good
hard to
shot.
see though because of the lighting.
Yeah, it does do a bit of heavy lifting, but I'm trying to be as, gracious to this as possible. I'll say this is one of the better things that I've seen.
You mean the director behind The Dark Knight might not like bright lighting and things? Shock.
It, big if true. Yeah. I'll just say so far, this is the thing I'm the most impressed with. There's some background decorations. They have shields on walls. It's hard to tell, but it looks like there might be painted mosaics as well, or at
Well,
least
to be
like
fair,
that.
this might be the easiest layup for him.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to give credit where it's due. Okay, this is the thing where I'm like, oh, that actually looks kind of good.
Fair,
Kind of
fair.
on point. And this is what I would expect. Like, if you had to feed a large number of Greeks, a road feast hall like this would be, I think, the way to do it.
Oh yeah.
They would still be people of some importance, but yeah, I could definitely see this being something Greeks of the time would do.
So do we know what role Tom Holland is playing here?
Odysseus's son.
Okay.
Yeah. What's his name? Telemachus. Yeah. So yeah, he's in the Odyssey. Telemachus was defending his mother Penelope from the suitors.
Oh, and these are intended to be the suitors. Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
that does actually make this a little bit better because Odysseus was a king. He would have had a feast hall, something like this,
Yeah.
for like large gatherings, and the suitors would have gathered in a feast hall to try and like curry favor.
Hmm.
Telemachus, also being the based kid that he was, really hated all of them.
He also, I think um, it was because he believed that his father wasn't dead and was returning.
Yeah, I believe in the story. It wasn't Aphrodite. I think it was Athena told him personally that he was still alive. Keep an eye out.
Mm.
I believe it's been some time.
And it would make sense if it was Athena because I believe Zendaya plays Athena, and so
Oh, okay.
they have that interaction.
I, you know, some people might have a problem with that choice. I actually do not think that is a terrible choice. I think she could do a good job of that.
She's she's just in everything, and uh, it's one of those things of she's not that great of an actress.
I don't think she's horrible though for what she is. I think she's one of those people who's I think she's actually pretty good, but she just can't find a good movie. You know? They want her in
She,
everything, and whoever's representing her is doing a terrible job.
she's good for specific roles, I guess, uh, and that role is rather limited.
And
Yeah, that's fair.
Zendaya is an interesting one because I think she's quite pretty, but I don't think she's like some sort of like absolute smoke show, right? She's not like, oh my god, she's so
Agreed.
beautiful, but she has a
Mhm.
very unique look to her. And so
She
Unconventional
does.
view.
yeah, so I think that in that way she makes like a really good model in a lot of ways because there's very striking and like eye catching. Um,
Hmm.
and I think so. I think a lot of her success has kind of gone off of that. Whereas
I think
again,
that
she's
might
not a
help.
terrible actress or anything. I'm not like at Gal Gadot and her acting and things, you know, like
Yeah. Hello, no.
so like Zendaya seems fine, but seeing her in everything and coming up in
Yeah.
everything and want
Oversaturation.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Athena, I think, is a good choice for her too. Because again, she's an unconventional beauty, and Athena was one of the virgin goddesses, and
Yes.
she was known as beautiful, but not in the same way Aphrodite would have been, or even as Hera would have been. It's a different kind of beauty because Athena was a goddess of sort of
Wisdom
uh,
and battle strategy.
yes, intelligent, structured wisdom,
Hmm.
but wisdom with intent.
Hmm.
Whereas Aphrodite was just like, look at the boobala. You know what I mean? Like she was like the reproduction goddess, the love, the sexual, like the new hotness,
Right.
in
And
almost in a debaucherous way.
with Athena, she was a character of action. Um, very much so. She was more um, prominent in tales dealing with Poseidon or even Ares. Um,
Atalanta, she was one of the ones who was competing for beauty with Atalanta,
mhm,
and her representation was that she wanted Atalanta to be beautiful because physically, like in a I am fit athletic kind of way, which is very fitting for her.
mhm,
And that's why Atalanta had when her suitors would come to her, the contest that she picked was a foot race because I believe lore wise she was raised by bears, and she would her suitors would come and try and win her, and the contest was like, okay, you win, I'll marry you, but if you lose to whatever contest we agree on, I'm going to kill you.
yep.
And Athena finally with Aphrodite, I believe, agreed that this one particular guy was correct and gave them the guy golden apples to throw in the foot race. So she would get distracted, pick up the golden apples because they were like, okay, this is a good dude. We kind of want her to marry this guy.
Okay, we should move on.
Yes.
See, Teddy, you said 2 minutes shouldn't take us too long.
But we knew that wasn't going to happen.
I would like to point out uh we're at 40 minutes of recording so far. We're at about the
Excellent.
about the 50-second mark in the video. In the in the Skyop video breakdown that Gleeman did with the on the panel, at the 50-second mark in the video, they were 2 hours in to their stream. So either the three of us are just way faster and have a lot less to say, or possibly this trailer for the Odyssey has less to talk about than the Skyops. I'm
Well, to
thinking
be fair,
maybe that's part of it.
there were less, or there are less on this panel than there was on the
Yeah.
SkyOp video. And the SkyOp video covers a multitude of genres and topics,
Yes, it does.
while this trailer is on one specific topic, which we just happen to have quite a bit of information on.
Excuse me,
We're learning people.
I don't think that's technically possible. See, because Skyop was made with AI, and AI is not
Oh,
art, so it cannot
it is
have
slop. True.
have meaning in it. It is just slop. So
But we
this
don't
was
know AI
obviously,
wasn't used in this.
well, this is fair. This could all be
Fair.
AI. It's all an AI psyop.
It would explain a lot.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Shall
Anyways,
we
I just thought,
continue?
yeah. Go.
Okay. Okay. Come on.
I want you to choose me.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
No, he's not.
Okay, so he's definitely using the lighting to his advantage to cover up like CGI
Yes.
and whatnot.
Yes.
And it's awful. Even the lighting isn't saying it. The shot with
Yeah.
her a second ago opening up those doors and revealing her with Odysseus's bow was a great shot.
Hmm.
The practical shots with practical effects look amazing in this. I'll give it to them. It's kind of like the older, like you could still watch an 80s movie where they're using practical effects that look great.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no,
Whoops.
you're good.
I was trying to get us to that shot where we see that arm come in. Oh,
Did you see it when it came in through the darkness? The wrist is like turned down, almost like it's broken. This is
yeah.
just it needs work. They could have cooked in the dungeon for this a little longer because the Cyclops is an important part of the story. Like it's probably
Yes.
arguably one of the most famous ones other than murdering the suitors.
Well,
So
and it's because Odysseus angers Polyphemus that Poseidon gets involved and throws him off of his course.
yeah.
Um,
And the Cyclops, I believe, are the children of Poseidon.
yes, that's the reason. Is basically Odysseus has angered the son of Poseidon, and so Poseidon punishes Odysseus for it. Um, so yeah, basically a lot of the Odyssey becomes Odysseus trying to find a way around Poseidon's wrath.
This could have been a good shot. I think as time goes on and people lean heavier, you look at the old Jurassic Park when the CGI guy was sitting there with the director and they would talk during the setup and the storyboarding about how we can make this shot work. Like Jurassic Park is almost a 30-year-old movie and it holds up today.
Well,
That scene of the T-Rex.
a lot of Jurassic Park was practical effects, though.
Yeah,
They had a huge amount of
Yeah.
practical effects for Jurassic
yeah,
Park.
absolutely. But that scene where the mechanical T-Rex head comes down, smashes, and then it picks up and then it goes over and it smoothly switches to the CGI. It tricks your brain into thinking the mechanical head and that CGI T-Rex are the same thing. And it
Hmm.
just holds up so well. I think this could have honestly been like rotoscoped and it would have looked so much better. They could have rotoscoped it and then touched it up with CGI, just like a light hand. Just, let's smooth out the rough edges and it would look so much better. But slapping CGI from some guy in a dungeon in Hollywood somewhere with no input from the director or even seeing what they're shooting, it
Yeah.
really makes this stand out.
Well, and you have to think about like in the 80s and in the 90s, because of the limitation of the technology, they were very intentional in not only the cinematography, the actual shooting of those scenes, but in the post production as well, of making sure that everything blended together
Yeah.
really, really well.
It's almost like a lost art. It really
Mhm.
is. It's like they forgot how to do it. There's still some CGI that looks that way, but you get that more from independent studios. These big studios with all of their budgets, they just can't find the people willing to take the time to actually do it correctly. Whether it be the actual CGI lead developers or the directors, they're just not talking to each other because the directors, I'm willing to bet they assume that the CGI guys will fix it, and the CGI guys are getting it and going, "How the hell are we supposed to make this look good?"
Uh, or they were given a direction of this is what we want. They give it to the director, and the director says, "Oh, that's not what I wanted. This is what I
Yeah,
want." And so they have to go back again and again and again. And each time, it's going to be a degradation, not an improvement
yeah.
of the original vision.
They got to be in the same room talking about how to make it work. There's got to be a way to make this vision because I could see this looking good, right? Coming out of the walls, kind of smoke and mirrors it, very obscured, just this big horrible thing. It's basically just a big ugly guy at the base of it.
It
Hmm.
looks
You've
very much
seen
like
plenty of these
Golem.
movies.
It's very Golem-esque. In
Yeah,
fact, this
Well,
this
Golem
scene,
looks better.
that's
yeah,
true. But this scene, when I say that, I mean he doesn't look big. I know he's holding a guy in his hand. He's literally holding a guy in his hand.
yeah.
But the scene and the way that it's filmed does not portray a sense of scale with this monster at all. Like it looks like Golem with like a fish in his hand. It looks like a small creature cowering in a
Right.
corner, not this big lumbering dangerous cyclops.
You kind of need the kaiju mindset
I was
in
actually
this
just thinking that a
Pacific
movie that
Rim.
did this. My exact thought, Pacific Rim, did this perfectly. The scene with the boat swung like a baseball bat
Hmm.
had weight. Everything was big and slow and lumbering, and it felt heavy. There was like impact with everything it did.
Right. And Guillermo del Toro put us like on the ground looking up at
Hmm.
these titans, and made sure that the scale was set for us to know just how big these things are.
You could have been looking past a person in this shot for perspective. Just imagine looking over the shoulder of someone up at this thing as it crawled into frame. It
Or
would have done so much for this.
even better yet, be at the feet looking up as
Mhm.
the guy is dangling from his hand. But then that would have put the Cyclops further into frame, which
Which
he
would have been
probably
worse.
is trying to
Which is the
avoid.
last thing they want.
Yep,
The lighting's trying to do a lot of work, but it's not doing enough work, honestly. Because, I mean, the model that they're using there does look pretty good. Like, I'm not seeing any questionable shapes except for maybe on the hands and fingers. That probably could have used a little tightening up, and maybe it's because I'm looking through it on a screen. The face does seem kind of distorted and kind of awkward. But it just seems like there's a million ways that you could have done camera tricks to make this come off a million times better.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
sure.
Yes, sir.
What would he do if he came back here and find all these suitors in his house?
You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know, like some sniveling bastard.
Who's looking after your wife and son?
Do you see?
My dad is coming home.
Oh,
Okay, I just want to pause here real quick. Just the comparison of going from that Cyclops to all of those close up, well lit shots of the characters, there's going to be a lot of like this movie is gonna be a lot of, like, shock to your system of going from really good, well-lit shots to horrible CGI. Like, look at this trireme. This looks good. This is excellent. It's what a trireme would have looked like. It's relatively accurate as far as I can tell. You know, you've got your main sail. The shape is correct. The width
Mhm.
is about right. They would have been a decent bit larger, but there's multiple types of triremes, so that's not really the end of the world. Like, compare this shot, and I'm sure there's CGI being used in here as well. But to compare this in a well-lit area looking like this to whatever that Cyclops was, it's beyond words. They could have done this the whole time. I think this
Yeah.
movie's gonna have a lot of, system shock when you watch it, going from, like, good shot, bad shot, good shot, bad shot.
And I think they were obliged to put Polyphemus in the trailer, but notice how that's been pretty much the only monster, really.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and we still have
Scylla and
Charybdis,
Charybdis, yeah.
Scylla. We have um,
The
gosh,
sirens.
the sirens, absolutely, and even the witch series.
Yeah. I
Yep.
I'm willing to bet that that's gonna be a thing of little interest. I think the sirens are gonna be your traditional, like, I don't think they're gonna do anything super interesting with them. It's just gonna be pretty ladies who sing, or they're gonna do them like D&D style harpies. It's just gonna be ladies with feathers. Um,
Mm,
I think Scylla and Charybdis is where they have the most meat to work with to do something interesting,
hmm.
but I don't see them taking advantage of that. Like, I think it's just gonna be a hole that opens up in the water with a big mouth, and I think it's just gonna be a bunch of snake heads coming out of a mountain.
Yeah.
Given, what I'm seeing so far, and who knows, maybe they show it in the trailer, they're still I might be impressed, but I think they're just gonna take the lowest hanging fruit and going, "Look, here's that thing you read about."
Right. Because like I mean, there's so much. I'm sure he has to take out some things from
Yes.
the story to make this into a feature length film. So we'll probably be skipping uh, possibly the witch, possibly the Lotus Eaters,
Oh,
maybe.
yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, because
Um,
it's a very, like, interesting part of the story, it's not gonna be visually interesting, I think, unless they, like, lean into the debauchery of it.
it's not visually interesting, and it's not uh, particularly progressing as far as the plot is concerned. And we're also doing a lot of shots with Penelope and
Yeah.
uh, Telemachus. So I'm like, okay, as far as the trailer is concerned, we've done actually more shots with Penelope and Telemachus and that part of the story than we have with Odysseus
Yeah.
at this point.
It's all just been him sailing or him standing in Troy.
Yeah.
It
So,
it's a plague on modern Hollywood that there's this mentality that long movies are bad. But if you anyone who's watched Lord of the Rings versus the theatrical edition versus one of the extended editions, they know that the extended, where they took more time and care and they developed it even further, is the way to go.
mhm,
Honestly, this could have been a 2.5-hour movie where they really took their time and made it like an actual, like, big feature event, which Hollywood doesn't do the big features anymore.
How
That's
long
kind of
is it?
dead art.
Do we know how long it's going to be?
I think at this point we should. Um, let's see, runtime. Let's
I'd be
see.
willing to bet it's gonna be an hour and 20 minutes.
I know. I think we are going to be looking at something like 2.5 hours. My problem with what I'm seeing here is how much of that time is being cut, how much of the Odyssey itself is being cut into so that we can have the all of the
You really
drama
think it's going to
with,
run that long?
yeah,
According
Oh,
it's a Nolan film. So,
oh, true. He can let it run long. I'd be willing to bet that they had him just cut, cut, and cut, especially with how the shots are taken and stuff like that. If you're gonna run a long movie, you would imagine that, especially for your like major scenes with the monsters, which is while it's not what the Odyssey is famous for, it's definitely something that is like ingrained into it. You would have thought that more care would have been taken with it.
according to AMC theaters, the Odyssey runtime is 2 hours and 52 minutes, so just short of 3 hours.
That's actually
okay.
surprising.
Uh, I'm impressed, but also, if this is the trailer you're sending out, again, like my whole thing has been half of this trailer has just been Penelope and Telemachus and Antinous.
Yeah,
Not very much Odyssey in this
yeah.
trailer. That
For
worries
sure.
me.
For
Hey,
sure.
we still got a minute left though. It may impress us. We're just getting to the exciting part.
Well, we do know that the source material was the feminist reimagining of the Odyssey,
Yes.
so
So you know I gotta see it. It's gonna be peak cinema.
I
boy
okay.
is right.
Y'all ready?
Bringing vengeance. Bringing it all.
Like I was saying, oh, and I paused just before we reached the atrocious armor. Um, like I was saying, it's just so dull. The lighting
That
is so
crowd charge
dull.
looked horrible. That was embarrassing. Can
Yeah,
let me
yeah,
rewind here just a second because I want to see that again. Like, look at that shot. It's three-quarter view. He looks like Mark Hamill who doesn't know where he is anymore. And it doesn't look like an army. It's just a blur of people in the background. This is not an army. I'd be willing to bet that those aren't even actual people back there. There's like 10 dudes and the rest they just use computers like make it a bunch. The shot, why wouldn't if you had an army like this, why wouldn't you put it square on and then back it out as the guy charges? You know what I mean?
hmm
Or
And,
show him charging away from the camera and have everyone else follow through from behind.
and
Because
and I'm just looking at the lighting of this. I'm like, w- where's the majesty of the battle? Like, granted, some battles get um very muddied and everything,
yes,
and they're grim and dark and everything.
yeah,
But there was no necessity to make this smoky gray and very, like, as you were saying, just the cinematography of it, like how he's being shot running and then they follow. There's
yeah.
no grandness to this at all. I am not interested in this at all.
Like Lord of the Rings did this better so many times
It should not
with
be this hard.
so yeah. I mean, and
Yeah,
look at
but
the variety of battles. You had the fight in the forest with the orcs, like, and I know I'm giving it a hard thing to compare it to, but it's just the
very
most
hard thing to
obvious.
compare it to.
But look at
Only 25 years old, guys.
yeah, but compare this to both the death of Boromir, where it was a small skirmish in the woods, and how like wonderfully shot that was, and how like intentional every single second of that came off. And then also look at the Battle of Helm's Deep, how it was dark and gritty and like kind of obscured. You could still tell what was going on, but everything was covered in mud and everything seemed super desperate. I'm
And
not
well
getting
lit. I'm just saying, it was
I
at night, and it was still well lit.
yeah, it was beautiful, it really was. It was actually, like, impressive cinematography. This they seem almost like they're bored, like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then he just kinda saunters off, and then everyone else just kinda saunters after him. Also, this is not a formation. Like, I know that's me being
No,
a little nitpicky,
Oh, I
but
was
that's
about to
not a
bring that up.
battle lineup.
I was like, "That is not a battle line. That
I
is
don't know how
nothing.
you.
That
I don't know how you
they're
can
not
tell.
prepared."
It's such a blur through the smoke. You can't even see the people.
Also, this is supposed to be a Greek battle formation. Where are the fucking spears? There is not a spear to be seen in here. It's just a bunch of dude with horsehair helmets standing with swords. Probably.
Dude, you're
It's
seeing a
shot so
lot more
poorly.
than I am. I'm not
I'm
making
s
out any
I'm
of
seeing a
this.
bunch of smudges on the screen. That's what I'm
Yeah.
seeing.
I'm going by
Absolutely.
silhouettes, but let me play it just for another second to get to that. They clear up
Okay,
a
yep.
little bit, but again, you see the horsehair helmets. There is not a single spear to be seen in this shot. It's just dudes running, and they're all wearing targes, the small round shields. This would not be the
Oh.
style of shield they have worn at that time either, which that's me being extra nitpicky, but it's just incorrect from start to finish.
See, for some reason, when we had paused before, I assumed this was essentially like on a beach because as it
I
like
thought so
fades
too.
out into the horizon, it looks like maybe
It looks
that's
like a
water.
beach.
But
Yeah,
those are people out there in the smoke past there, standing in what would be the water if it was a beach.
yeah.
So I guess not. I guess it's just the smoke and fog is that thick that you can't see
But take
more
a look.
than
You can
20
see
feet.
the hard line where the CGI fog is. It's not like a soft
Absolutely.
fog that's gradient. You know what I mean? It's not like it starts small and goes thick. In the foreground, there is no fog to be had. It doesn't even look moist and wet. Like, how is it foggy and dry? Right? Like, listen, I'm not a cinematographer. I am talking out of my ass here, but I know wrong when I see it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, all of this just seems bad. And you know what this gives me a little bit of a vibe of is, Obi-Wan, the, Disney Star Wars, uh,
Yeah.
series. They did a lot of shots in, like, a quarry where everything was just flat and dull and
Hmm.
like easily to move around in and everything. And that's what this gives me a vibe of is they didn't want any distinguishing features on the landscape for some reason. I don't know why.
Like, think to the battles that we had in the Star Wars prequels and how much people complained about that. We did not know how good we had it back then, honestly.
Absolutely.
We didn't know how good we had it with some of those prequel battles. And even then, like, even though they were very clean and very CGI, they were still interesting looking. They were impressive in and of themselves because of the scale. It looked like it was a little chaotic. The arena fight is a good example. There was so much happening in every corner of that battle scene. It
Hmm.
wasn't two groups of people lined up. There was a split second of that, but then it just descended into chaos with blaster bolts and lightsabers flying everywhere, people dying, explosions. Genosis was the same way. That overview shot when they were riding in and you got that one good look down into the battlefield and there were explosions, there were vehicles clashing into each other.
Absolutely. And like with the arena and with the greater Geonosian battle in the Attack of the Clones, um, like everything was tan and like
Yeah,
that sandy color, but you were able to distinguish features. You were able to
yeah,
see details in it, and the cinematography made it interesting to look at.
yeah. The evacuation ships going off, the blaster bolts, the different colors telling you who's where and which side is, while it's a little bit of an AI kind of blur and, characters, action figures smashing into each other. You could tell that there
Mhm.
was intent behind what was happening there. There was an actual conflict that you could visibly look down from, even in the brief overview shots of, oh, these guys are fighting over hard points. And even that was very clean looking CGI. It was one of those things where nobody's really muddy or dirty. It didn't look like they've been fighting all day.
Also, with this shot, now that you mentioned, the 2 armies, this is a very wide shot.
Yeah.
Where's the other army? Where are they running to?
What are they running at? Like, the only thing I can imagine is this camera keeps panning. The only way this could make sense to me is this camera keeps panning, and then there's a city on the other side with walls. Because I can't imagine this type of thing but even then, you have no siege equipment. I'm not seeing anyone carrying ladders. I'm not seeing any like
Right.
actual
It
anything you would
it makes
have
no
for a
sense that
battle.
this would be a siege.
Yeah, it looks like a siege preparation where you line up on the wall you're hoping to take, and then you assault that point. Like you're attacking a hard point. Everybody's focused in one area, but there's nothing to focus on. It's just a field, and it's not even
Mhm.
like you could tell what it's a field of. It's just packed dirt
So
and potentially an ocean behind them.
you,
We're not sure.
yeah, unsure ocean. You had mentioned that the only way that you could think this would work is if you turn the camera and there's just a wall right there. If the camera keeps panning over and there's immediately, and I mean like immediately, like right in your face, a wall of other soldiers running at them, like from the other side,
That might
then that
save it
would
a
be fine.
little bit.
But it would have to be like essentially the camera turns and you're in a close up, like looking up someone's nose. They'd need to be pretty
Yeah.
close for that to make sense.
It would have to turn with the point character, and then he immediately clashes with somebody. Like, just to make the scene have some liveliness to it. Because I can't imagine this turning and then they run off into the distance. Like,
Exactly.
Right.
any
Him saying,
distance from this
"Let's
is an
go,"
enemy.
and them wasting energy running for, well, let's say, hundreds of feet
Yeah.
just to
Like,
meet up with the enemy.
there was no historians at all in the making of this because I'm not seeing any type of long range archery, no slingers, no cavalry. Ooh, it says lost connection.
Oh,
Oh,
what says lost connection?
To watch together. Can one of you guys hit play and see if it comes back up for me?
okay.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. There we go. Yeah, even up close, like look at this bunching. There's no variety in the types of soldiers they have. Like there's nobody throwing a sling. I see no javelins. Greeks had archers of a kind. They had long range implements, but they're just running at the enemy. It's very Braveheart.
I think maybe we're being a little too critical. We don't know what they're running for. Maybe this isn't even an army. Maybe, they're just walking along this pure dirt path and they see a nice lush field up ahead and they're all just excited to go frolic in the field without any noticeable weapons. I mean,
The
they
best
don't have
outcome.
weapons, so it doesn't seem like it's an army.
The best outcome is they're running off into the distance and the army moves past and there's another army that comes chasing them.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now I got lost connection. Do you see something
All
now?
right.
Yes.
There we go.
Okay.
We'll need
so
to
we
get
were,
caught up to where we were, but
yeah. Let's see. We were around
There.
135. Yeah.
July 17th. So what are these things supposed to be? Did you see that?
what in the Iron Man?
Yeah.
Just wait. They get closer, I believe.
Well, hold on.
Uh,
I'm impressed. One of them is carrying a spear.
Spears do exist.
The giants, the one things that wouldn't need a spear because they can reach, which is why you have a spear, is carrying a spear. It's extra deadly. Oh my goodness.
that armor.
I need every
So
Ah,
we need to go.
if there's one
Oh,
thing that the Greeks were known for, it was their skilled craftsmen.
I need everyone at this party
Oh.
dead.
Ah, dang it. The pause, like, play works for me, but the pause does not.
Yeah, it's a little funky.
There we go.
Oh, that's a beautiful shot. Look at that helm. Look at that. The helm and the gorget are one thing, which technically that can be a thing, but it's really not. It's got like this beer
if
gut. I just said the word and I can't think of it now. Like a cuirass. This is awful. The plate skirting looks wrong.
if the gorget is like fused to the helm, like it looks like it is, then yeah, you have no ability to look to the sides at all.
Yeah.
Like
There are helms that are kind of like this. Like if you look at a lobstered coif, it does have the gorget kind of attached, but it's more of a loose attachment. The pauldrons, I think, are the only thing on this that kind of looks okay, and the chest piece and the belly guard being two separate pieces is also fine. But I don't think your stomach guard would be in the shape of a beer gut. Like that's a unique choice.
you know, I guess I guess the dark shadows for their CGI are starting to make sense.
Yeah,
When
daylight is not doing them any
no,
favors.
it certainly isn't.
I don't
It's
even know what
just,
these necessarily are supposed to be. They're just
yeah,
big guys.
I'm trying to remember anything that fits these guys' description. Well, it wouldn't fit this description per se, but giant men, armed men.
I wonder, this is made by feminists. I wonder if these are the Amazons. They made the men do the fighting.
Don't know why they would do that though, because
Well, I don't
that
either, but
was
nothing's made sense up to this point either. Also, they're battling with hatchets and swords again. Like spears do not exist. A pointy stick is the most effective weapon these people could ever have, and they've totally shirked the idea of picking up a stick and sharpening it.
Yeah, I got nothing on this one. Like, and
If
that
you
helmet just looks god
Also, if you
awful.
look behind him, their swords don't look correct either. I haven't really took much look at the swords they're carrying, but they're square. No, it may just be the paws in the shot, but they seem to be
Hmm.
like square with no tip, almost like a great machete. So that doesn't look entirely correct either. These aren't gladiuses or anything that would resemble them. And I know
Let me
gladius are a little bit later, but
let me
they're
see if I can
effectively
get
similar.
a better shot.
Oh, okay, that's a
That's
little better.
that's better, yeah.
It's still not period correct, but at least you could tell it is a pointy sword. It
And
can in fact stab something.
it does look like it's probably made from bronze as opposed
Yeah.
to being steel, which is good.
Oof, that pause though, like the middle one that's coming out of the mist.
You know, I
Could
take it
def
back. Looking at it now, I don't think that's actually a spear. I think that's just a tree or a piece of smoke in the background. I rescind my compliment.
Did you guys see the did you guys watch Thor? The first Thor
Yes.
movie?
Oh yeah.
The first
Yeah.
Thor movie has that big like metallic monster guy that like shoots beams out of his
Oh yeah, the
face.
destroyer.
The
The
destroyer.
destroyer, yeah.
These are given strong destroyer vibes.
But
Destroyer
the
was better
destroyer
though.
was better.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This is
You got
like
what they were going for.
this is like uh Tony Stark built his first suit of armor in a cave, and it's all clanky and like whatever. This is like the first destroyer attempt. Just
I guarantee you
real.
the first Iron Man movie had nowhere near the budget, and that first
Oh,
Both the
of
Iron
course it
Man
didn't.
suit looks so much better than this.
Yes.
Oh,
I was about to
Like
absolutely.
say that.
leaps
You
and bounds.
mentioned it, and I was like, his first Iron Man suit looks better than this.
The point being that like the armor doesn't look like it fits this setting at all. It doesn't.
It
No,
really
It
doesn't.
looks it weirdly looks too advanced in some ways and also too sloppily put together
yeah,
at the same time.
this is low budget MMO armor. Like this is end game MMO armor from a company that doesn't have a good graphics budget. This is the Dark Soul armor you fat roll in.
Thus the beer gut
Yeah,
for the fat
true,
roll.
true. Oh my goodness. This movie's gonna be awful. We have to watch it at some point.
Oh gosh.
Oh goodness. Okay, let's continue. We're almost there. Oh, come on. Come on.
I need everyone at this party dead. I can still save them.
You're a man who needs to control his fate. But you cannot control this. That world is gone.
Again, like Telemachus and Penelope over and over and over again. Like they are half this trailer.
I will give one compliment to this. I do have to give a compliment. It is a big part in the story that Odysseus missed his dog, and they did show Odysseus when he came back and pretended to be the hermit beggar that he did pet the dog and the dog recognized him.
Hmm.
So, I mean, credit where it's due. They remembered that part.
Of course they would remember that part.
They also teased the bow, but I have not seen an establishing shot of the shooting the arrows through the axes. Like, there's
That
still a
could
little bit of
be,
Hmm.
time,
yeah,
but that
that
is
could
like
be
the
coming up.
climax of the story. That is like
Hmm.
everything. It's that scene and then the murder. And then that's the end of the story.
Right.
And they haven't established that one bit. Like they've only
Well,
just glimpsed the bow.
it's just a trailer.
They-
Maybe they're keeping that for something for people to see in the theaters, not they wouldn't want to
uh,
spoil the story that's only been around for thousands of years.
Yeah. It's
They've
just
hardly established the Odyssey
yeah.
in this trailer.
They really haven't.
They haven't they haven't implied any lore, they haven't implied any gods, any deus ex machina reaching down
Oh.
and guiding them because he had gods that were on his side and against him.
What do you think
He
Yes,
had help as well as hindrance.
what do you think the chances are they're going to include gods in the movie at all?
they
I
have to. That there's no way that
Yeah,
they
they're
can't.
too important to the story.
Yeah,
I mean, I
I
don't get me
think
wrong, I'm
that.
with you, Teddy. I think that they would be willing to like shirk them or give them a very minimal role. But I'd be willing to bet that if we do see gods in this, like even referenced, they're going to be villainous. These
Well, they're.
people,
Hmm.
given
I'm
given the
wondering.
source material, I can't imagine these people would see anything with God in the name in any kind of positive light, let
Right,
alone
and
actually thinking about the context of which they're in.
well, that and there's something of you get into the realm of determinism
Mhm.
with the gods present, and that's where I think the rub would be for them,
I think
or
you're
at least
right.
for the director.
I think you're right if it was more of a god with a capital G, but the Greek gods and Norse gods, they don't really work that way because they don't predetermine anything. They're as much
True.
actors in the story as basically as Odysseus is. They're just people who, in reality, if you want to think of it this way, they are also people who just happen to be more powerful than the people they're affecting.
That is a very true statement, but they also, take control of the narrative, very
Yeah,
much so in the Odyssey, away from Odysseus, which is
yeah.
probably something that Nolan doesn't want to do. So I
I don't
could
think
s
the initial writers would have been mentally capable of handling the idea of gods. I mean, given the source material of this, I can't imagine them being open-minded about the original material and understanding the role they played.
it's interesting, though, that they kept Calypso, because Calypso herself is a god of sorts.
Yeah, in a demigod effectively, I think, right?
Well, she's much more a god because, she's the daughter of Titans.
Oh, true, yeah.
So
That
she's
would
on the level of the gods. She's just cursed and trapped. So d efficient or effectively, she is nerfed to the point of being just a demigod.
yeah. But
Um,
do you think they would represent her that way? Because I can imagine a world where they totally ignore all of that, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, a witch," you know?
okay, so Zendaya is playing Athena, so they are representing the gods
Oh
to
yeah,
some
Oh,
that's
true.
degree.
true.
I
That's
didn't think of
true.
that. Yeah. So there has to be some level of representation. Maybe we're just not seeing it in this trailer,
It,
but given what they've shown in the trailer, I can't imagine there's gotta be a ton of representation, though, because we haven't even seen Zendaya, like, at all represented here.
Yeah, and, oh, they are doing Circe, interestingly enough. Looks like it. Hmm, the witch. There
Okay.
the we'll be seeing pigs.
Yes. Possibly. We don't know how they're gonna reinterpret this story. That's the
That's
one
very
thing that's
true.
really kinda got me on edge because you can put whatever politics you want into it and just kind of view it in a certain light. People do that all the time with their stories, Starship Troopers being, like, a prime example. The
Right,
original Starship Troopers was, very much a, um it's funny, the guy had made it going, "Look at how bad this fascism is," but then when they showed fascism for the movie, it was like, "Look at this libertarian paradise these fascists have created," you know?
right.
So, how they try to represent it, I think is gonna be a big part of it, but again, I don't think that they would know how to even handle trying to adapt something like that, especially something that's from a time that's so, like, unanimously conservative in its mindset, you know?
well, conservative in a fashion,
Yes.
there
We'll say
are
traditional.
elements. Yeah, because this was before the Christian conservative, movement, essentially.
Yeah.
So,
It was
this
for lack of a
was
better term.
right. So this is more of traditional masculinity being portrayed, um, and without the Christian elements that came later.
Well, and their
Yeah.
stories of the gods are pretty similar to like our stories of Marvel characters and superheroes, right? And I guess more recently, some of the Sky Bros stories are along those same sorts of um, mythological stories of heroism and as you were saying, like a positive masculinity, like a strong masculinity. Um,
Yeah,
I don't remember where I was
and
going with that, but yeah, that's that.
no,
You're going in a direction I liked.
for sure. We take a lot of inspiration, whether we believe it or not. We take a lot of inspiration from the old stories, and there are archetypes in storytelling that just emerge naturally, that fit this mold. Now, granted, the Odyssey is definitely atypical in storytelling, or at least in Western storytelling, because um, you don't really see the same uh, heroic um, like aspects of what we see in a hero arc because they didn't think of heroes the same way back
Very
in
correct.
the Grecian time.
Uh,
Heroes
Love
were,
heroes, especially.
yeah, heroes were much more the person who went on an extraordinary journey. They didn't have a moral value to them as we would place the heroic value to.
I think the
Uh,
most obvious example of that would be traditional Hercules. He had three wives, and I think he killed two of them.
right.
You know,
Uh,
we think of him
Partly
as a
because of
hero.
the madness that Hera put on him, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah,
He did plenty of bad stuff of his own free will as well.
yeah. Heroic by deed, not by nature. I think would be a good way to put it.
Right. Heroic circumstances insofar that they were extraordinary, not that they were good.
Right.
So, shall
Right.
we finish this trailer?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's go.
what new horrors await us?
No one could stand between me and home. Not even the gods.
Keep us straight!
Was that really Charybdis? Was
Yep, I
that
called it. It was going to be just a hole in the water, and there's probably a mouth at the bottom.
uh
Knew it.
that that was absolutely disappointing.
Yeah, that
Who's
was
Clar-
awful.
Who's Charybdis?
There were two monsters that they had to pass to get out of a certain area. One was Scylla and one was Charybdis. Charybdis is representative of a whirlpool that is in a certain area that would swallow ships, and essentially they use that as a lore basis for a monster that would eat ships. It was basically a natural whirlpool that forms next to a rock outcropping. But
It's like
basically,
an
big
eddy, yeah.
monster, yeah, big monster with a mouth at the bottom. But they represented it in the most uninteresting way imaginable. Just big circle of water, and then I guarantee you, Scylla is just going to be snake heads that are sticking out the side of a rock.
If they even show Scylla, uh,
Yeah, that's actually true too. They may choose not to, which is a shame because these are two monsters that you could actually have a lot of fun with and get creative with.
yeah, like Charybdis was supposed to be like so big that like going through like this passage, there was no way to avoid Charybdis unless you went like directly along the rock face, which
Mhm.
then put you in the line of fire for Scylla, who would reach out and grab the men from the ship. So this is incredibly disappointing.
It is. I mean, how hard would it be to take a look at the Sarlacc from Star Wars in the 70s and go, "We'll do that, but water." That would have been more interesting than whatever this is.
I mean,
Because
Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, which isn't a very good movie, but they did Charybdis way better.
yeah, you could have got creative. I mean, it didn't even have to be something that sat still. It could be a giant shark for all they cared. All it needs to be is something that opens its mouth and everything goes flooding in,
Hmm.
or something that could potentially eat a ship, right? It could have been a giant squid that just reaches up and grabs stuff. That would have been an interpretation, you
Yep,
know? If they thought about it for more than 30 seconds, they could have did something other than big whirlpool. And granted, to be fair, they're not showing the monster itself, quote unquote, and they probably will.
true.
But
Well, and just how, like, with this size of a whirlpool, the event, quote unquote, event horizon of the whirlpool would be so much bigger than
yeah,
what is depicted here.
this looks like something you could swim away from.
Yes,
Like,
it looks like
honestly.
If they put just a little bit more effort into the paddling, they could go right and avoid
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
looks like they could have gone left and gone around it.
Well, guys,
You know?
they had a limited CGI budget. You can expect the CGI guys to
Oh
make
god.
all of the water look like it's swirling in towards that. It's all calm water,
Yeah.
and they just plunked a little whirlpool on there and called it good.
I'm wondering, I need to ask Birdman to help me. I guarantee you that with his Grok or ChatGPT, he could have done this better using a swirl from a sink getting drained. Like using ChatGPT and a sink going down, he probably could have used AI to make a better image of Scylla and Charybdis.
Just take this clip and make a better Cryptus
Yeah.
here.
I want to point out, though, that we have that same kind of line of fog in the background, like kind of just
Yeah.
past the rocks. There's just fog, and it becomes just a muddy gray. And it seems like it's clear up close, and then there's like a distinct line of where now this is where it's just going to get
Almost like
smudgy.
the fog is a physical barrier. Like
Right.
it actually looks like a
Oof.
white wall back there, as opposed to something, again, a little bit of a gradient. If they moved it into the top 3/4 instead of the top 10% and just slowly faded it in, it would be much more viable.
It's
Like
just so
I can get not
gray.
fog up
Everything's just so
close.
gray.
So gray. We got a lot of grays, and we got a lot of dark black scenes.
Yeah, and the one thing with Keller, the sail from the trireme, it's not even like a bright red to make it stand out like you would see in like an indie or a noir film where they're trying to draw attention to it, like to bring the eye in.
Mhm.
Just it's just like an old tarp that happens to be there. It's not even like an actual focal point.
Part of the reason why the bad lighting and this such grayness is such a disappointment is because the scenes where they do have some light and some sunshine, it looks good. They've had some scenes, especially some with the boats, where it looks good.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know why they
you
keep reverting to this. Like they think that
because those are the scenes with limited CGI. They're not trying to hide as much.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to say that's the reason, but it feels like that's the reason. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
Like they're giving the guys in the dungeon as much leeway as possible.
But even like I'm looking at like the stills just going along the timeline here, it is so gray. There is hardly any like good lighting except for when it's dark and candlelit or firelit.
Yeah, because it's probably not artificial. It's probably an actual like lamp or a digital torch or something like that.
Yep.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Y'all remember back when cameras had the SEPA filters on them, and everybody was taking pictures in that kind of sandy brown color?
Yeah.
Mhm.
This movie looks like it has a light SEPA filter on it.
But it's not the good SEPA filter either.
No,
It's not
it's
that
not artful or artistic or in any kind of way, you know?
Is
it's
it
just great.
is that how it's pronounced? I've always said sepia.
That's probably correct. I'm borderline illiterate. We've already established this.
I'm not a photographer, and I don't know. I've just always read it as sepia, so I'm
I've
just
heard
as
it as
likely
sepia
wrong.
and sepia, so it could be either way.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
20 seconds
Almost
left. That was a very sharp sword.
I think it's asleep.
Yeah, they seem to like to do that in Hollywood.
Bronze, it's known for its durability.
Oh yeah.
It's not a soft metal at all.
The sharpest of metals, bronze.
Yeah. Not prone to denting or breaking at all.
What is grabbing that guy?
It looks like something's, and I know that's not the intent because it's supposed to look like he's trying to hold on to the rigging. It looks like something's going to reach through and yank him through the mast.
Isn't that what's
It could have.
happening?
Oh, is it? Can we
Let's
back
go
up a
back.
second and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
watch it
yeah.
again?
Keep us straight!
Oh, yep, it was.
That
There
could
was
have
something
been
reaching through.
that could have been Scylla,
It
honestly,
could have been, yeah.
and they just hit it
Yeah.
because their CGI budget is only so small. Uh,
It didn't even look like something you were actually right, but I didn't even think something was reaching through it because of the way he was dropping. I thought it was like a cape that was dangling as he fell.
True.
So we're
Uh, uh,
talking about things that are being hidden. I I've noticed that there's a very particular thing about this movie that some people are unhappy about that they have not shown yet.
I do not know if that's actually true. Has anyone even confirmed that? Is that
as
actually a confirmed
uh,
thing?
I know that Elliot Page is on the cast.
Okay. But is it really as Achilles? Like,
I
No, I
don't
don't.
know.
I don't think it's as acute. Well, we don't know for sure, but it might be. So it might be. But
Elliot Elliot is not named on the cast yet.
okay. So, as far as we know, it's a meme. Would it surprise me? Not one bit.
But I don't know what Elliot would even be cast as.
Um, if I had to guess, if I put myself into the mind of the modern feminist, right? And I'm trying to think of it would have to be someone like strong and empowered, right?
Uh,
Someone who couldn't be questioned. Oh, what about the Oracle? The Oracle who told Odysseus where they need to go, the one who told him, go to the land where men eat their plates.
so I
Like the one who painted the map. Have
Maybe.
they showed him? Have they showed that person yet?
I think so. Um, it was early on, actually.
Oh, okay. So maybe they did.
I
Uh,
Because there are a fair
like,
number of women in the Odyssey.
so I saw someone saying that they're going to play Hermes. Um,
I've heard that too. That was the other option for Elliot.
but Elliot
Well,
wasn't even the one that I was referring to when I was saying something we haven't seen yet. We haven't
oh,
seen the actress for Helen of Troy yet.
oh,
Oh,
oh
yes.
my.
Oh, right.
I'm gonna butcher this name, but Lupita Nyong'o. Nyong'o. I'm not. I'm honestly not butchering it on purpose. I do not know how to pronounce this name. But
I think it is Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, I'm looking this person up right now. Um,
the
is this person listed as Helen?
yes, she
Yes.
is. And Christopher Nolan came out and said that
This
it
is
was his first pick for Helen of Troy, and that she was
a
the perfect
Spartan
pick for it.
woman if I've ever seen one.
Right?
When I think of a Spartan, this is what I imagine. A woman, I can't say that on this stream, but y'all know exactly what I'm thinking.
Hmm.
A lady
Yeah.
of character and broken hair.
Oh boy.
It's
No, to be honest, usually I very rarely consider the race of a person, especially even in comparison with someone whose race is known, like um Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury is a prime example. Nick Fury's been white for the longest time, but when they showed Samuel L. Jackson, I'm like, okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
yep. I think
Because
it
the
was
Yes.
race
fine.
wasn't inherent to it. This person is not Helen of Troy, regardless of what race it is. And
Yeah.
Helen of Troy being of Troy would definitely like imply like you couldn't have found a native Italian actress, a Greek actress, someone Mediterranean in nature.
Oh, they absolutely
If
could have, but didn't
if
you
it was
hear
Helen of
Christopher Nolan
Carthage, I
made
could
it
see it.
made it known that she was the best choice and his first pick, and he absolutely had to have her in that role.
Now, I'm
Well,
not going to pretend that there were not black people in Greece at the time, because there absolutely were. It's just a historical fact that there were Africans, and it was known to the Greeks. The Greeks,
Yes.
the Ptolemies, uh, Cleopatra, famously a Greek, despite what modern media wants you to think. So there were Africans in contact with the Greeks,
Sure.
but Helen of Troy would not have been an African.
Yes.
She would not have been an African.
Yeah, if it was Helen of Carthage, I could see it. That sounds like a joke, but that's like an honest take, because
No, no,
that
no.
is of Africa,
Yes,
you know?
that's the thing is I'm laughing because that's true. If this was Carthage, then sure, but
Yeah,
we're talking Troy.
even it's just it's revisionism, and it's to an extreme level. Like, I can take it if it's like someone who is not like objectively stated to be from a place or of this type.
But
Like,
Rhino, my dear sweet Rhino, have you considered that this is a fantasy tale?
yes, the fantasy of the Odyssey that was written by someone many moons ago, known for his lack of historical context.
Well, for me, like that argument falls apart because any fantasy told, like African fantasy told with white people in it,
Oh,
would get the same amount of vitriol that we see. Those of us who are arguing against this
yeah.
casting, that same amount of vitriol would go toward that work if they ever did that. The classic argument against it would be putting Ryan Gosling as the Black Panther. Um,
I could see it working. Like, let me play devil's advocate here. Like, let me be truly fair. We don't have
okay.
a set place for where Troy is, right? So if they did, for example, say, for all intents and purposes, that Troy was a glowing African city where this war had taken place, if that was the implication they were going with, then that would be reasonable and it would be justified within the story, right? It could be done and it could be viable. But I have zero faith that they're going to take the time and energy to go a route that would make it make sense. You know what I mean?
Well, I was going to say that. I was like, did Nolan, when he chose this actress as Helen of Troy, did he make the decision that everyone in Troy was going to be of the same color?
And he obviously didn't, because when we see the sack of Troy, the people who are running and fleeing are all tan olive skinned whites or Mediterranean, or at least
Hmm.
implied to be.
Out of
So that
Yeah.
curiosity,
clearly wasn't the intent.
continuing with the example of Ryan Gosling as Black Panther, how do you think it would go over if there was a retelling of the Black Panther and they took Wakanda and they moved Wakanda to a white like moved it made it a Nordic country since Wakanda's not a real place. They just put it up there and made it a bunch of Vikings. Do you
First
really
of all,
think
I
that
would
would
watch that
go
movie.
you know, I might too. But do you really think it would go over
Oh, it
quite
would go
well?
over like a screen door on a submarine, but
Right.
I for the meme, I would have to watch it just for like beer and popcorn movie. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you just can't get away with that sort of thing nowadays. And
Well,
if you do it right, it can be justified because it's been done before. But you have to take the appropriate steps. And again, like the example of Helena Carthage would have been the perfect way to do it, because Troy being a city is very vague. So all you have to do is imply, even just gently in the beginning, that that's where they're settling to, is instead of going east, they're going south somewhere. And your bases are covered, because everyone knows, from where this is supposed to be, it's Greek. To the south and east is Africa and the Middle East. And then you could have whoever you wanted because it would take place in that region.
Right.
Or at least initially, there would be influences of it established already. But implying that they're going north and east from Greece in the traditional story of Troy, you're not going to run into Africa.
Right. And the other problem is like the Odyssey, it mostly takes place in the Aegean Sea,
Yeah,
doesn't it? Yeah.
I believe so.
So like we then would be taking it out of the location of which it took place in order to make that adjustment.
The other consideration too, I didn't think about until just now, is that Helen of Troy wasn't just a lady; she was a Spartan. You know,
Yeah.
famously known for being African. It's not like Sparta
Uh,
wasn't a place on a map. You know.
it's even described in the book that her hair was golden.
Yeah. And,
Like,
you know, you could take a little leeway with that. I'm trying to be as fair as possible because, in all honesty, whenever I see a movie like this, I do hope it's good. I can make the jokes and I can poke the fun. From the bottom of my heart, I really do hope that this is a good movie and that everything is established properly and that we're just poking fun at something that's just silly on its surface. But
Wasn't
I don't see that in the
mhm.
future.
wasn't Helen Troy? She's described as a woman worth going to war for. A woman. No, what's the phrase?
Woman worth launching 1,000 ships
Worth
over.
Yep.
worth launching 1,000 ships over. Yeah. The impression being that she is this absolute beauty that basically any man would want. And beauty is subjective. I will admit that. Beauty is subjective. But when I look at the picture of this lady that's playing Helen of Troy, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I just don't see it.
It
She's
is a very
not
bad picture of her. I will say that. Like, she is pretty gorgeous,
she's not
but
ugly by any means. I'm not trying to say that she's
She is
ugly, but
traditionally attractive, and as
yes.
someone who is, no stranger to jungle fever once in a while, I'm not gonna go
oh
ahead and
gosh.
say that she's an no, just it's a funny way to put it, but it's
Oh
true.
yeah. There is.
Like, she is an attractive lady. She is quite beautiful,
Right.
but she's just not the person for the role.
I'm
Right.
you know, I guess, like I said, beauty is subjective, and we have different subjective opinions on that. I guess. Um, she nothing does nothing for me.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you know, you're a married man, you only got eyes for your
well,
lady.
absolutely, I would never even
Ab-
You're
glance.
biased.
Absolutely. Um, Now, my artistic eye says, yeah, she is very beautiful, but also like this was like Helen of Troy. I'm not even very happy with the Helen of Troy in Troy. Like
I
she,
was okay with it because she was a traditionally attractive woman. She was pretty in the way a painting is pretty, so I can kind of see that.
eh, for me, I thought she could have had a bit more beauty? It's weird to say. There needed to be a little bit more there, uh, but that's just me nitpicking. But like to uh, put that toward my argument, I nitpicked someone who fit the description to a T, and I even nitpicked that.
Yeah.
So this it is like completely justified for me to nitpick, and this isn't even a nitpick. This actually does have something to do with like a good change of the story.
So why do you think we are 2 minutes and 21 seconds into 2 minutes and 32 second trailer? So 11 seconds left in the trailer, and we still haven't seen Helen of Troy.
Yeah. Well, you know, there is
Is
also the
it?
chance that
Is it?
it's a very minor part of it. Like maybe
That
she's
that
just
is
living a
true.
normal life.
Well,
Like,
that's what I
she
was
is
going to
Nothing
not very
ask.
important to
inherently
the
about her.
Odyssey.
Do you think she has a role? Do you think Christopher Nolan would go out and talk about how he absolutely wanted this person for the role and it was his first pick and she's absolutely perfect for it? If it's going to be a small role, though,
I
I
think
honestly don't remember her impact on the original story. Like,
uh,
is
after the Iliad, uh, for the Odyssey, it's extremely minimal. I think it's just offhand mentions because of the relevance to what's happening afterwards. I don't think she has a pivotal role in it. I do think she shows up again in reference to Agamemnon, because if I remember right, he does get her back.
yes.
And then I believe Odysseus does stop. I forget which country he's supposed to be the king of, but he does stop there, I believe, in the Odyssey at some point, and he is given more ships to go back out. But it's not a major part, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, in 3 hours where they have to do all of the tale of the Odyssey, I very like she had no part to play other than the occasional like mention, as Rhino was putting it. Like, she has nothing to do with the actual Odyssey itself.
Yeah,
It's peripheral at best.
she would
So,
have like one scene when they're in Agamemnon's court, if she had any. I think the PR campaign is more of and we see remember the D&D movie when that came out, how they
mm-hmm,
came out and said all these like very woke PR things about the movie and everyone thought it
right.
was going to be like an awful woke fest. But then when you watched it, it's like, oh, not really, you know. I think that's
Yeah,
a bit of what's happening here. It's he has to say the PR lines from the PR people.
that could be. I will say
could be.
IMDb obviously is prone to failures, but I'm on my phone on the IMDb uh, page for this movie, and
Mm-hmm,
it lists cast and then it lists other cast. In
Mhm.
cast, we have Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Lupita Nyong'o, Zendaya,
mm-hmm,
and Charlize Theron. I think that's what you said
mm-hmm.
how you pronounce
Yeah.
her name.
Yep.
And then everyone else is in the other cast. The actor for Agamemnon, Cersei, Yuri Locus. Sorry, I don't know all these names, but a ton of people in the other cast. So she's at least put in IMDb in this special category with only 6 other actors. So
Yeah, she does have main billing.
so I don't know.
I will say one thing I did enjoy to give this movie credit. Let's talk about a couple good things instead of just dogging on it. I because we've done our fair share of that. Some things we like.
I know it sounds like I'm dogging on it. I'm genuinely asking these questions. I don't mean these questions just to be like it's wrong, but I'm like I'm
Oh,
genuinely curious.
You would be correct
Why
for
do
I'm
saying so,
complete.
but
I'm
why
being completely critical. Okay.
why do you think that we haven't seen her yet? It could be that she's not in a large role, like you said, but I'm seeing other things that seem to imply that she is in a large role.
I
So
think it's I think the reason they're not showing her in the trailer is a combination of two things. They know that it's going to be controversial, so it's a little bit of damage control. They want to say that they have a strong independent woman as main billing, but they also don't want to put a black woman as Helen of Troy in the trailer, so that way the chuds such as ourselves come out and call them out on it. At least not in any extreme way.
I mean,
Well, and you have to understand that even like with the press junkets and whatnot, and all of the articles that are released, most of the um, normies out there, and most of the people who just go to the movies to watch the movie, are not going to listen or even hear about these articles or whatnot. The trailers are going to be the main thing that they take away
Mhm.
from what is coming.
I
true.
did get one good thing out of the trailers, something
Yeah.
that I
Yeah, let's hear
genuinely
it.
did like.
Sure.
And that is, even though you get a lot of the ocean and a lot of like, oh, my wife, I'll see you later, and showing the suitors and all that, it did have a heavy focus on Telemachus, which I think was actually a very good choice because he is an integral part of the story with the suitors. And
Hmm.
I'm assuming they're going to have multiple trailers that show multiple things, and more will probably come out in time. But I think focusing on that portion of it, almost as like a drama of these suitors and the competition of can he, race against the clock, get back in time to see his wife before she decides to marry one of these suitors. I think that was a good choice because the scenes were all very well shot. They portrayed what was happening in a very clear and visually distinctive way. The scenery was good. If I had to pick shots for this movie to try and make it look good, it would be these shots showing him and the suitors. If anything,
Yes,
I probably would have shown more of them and less Cyclops and Whirlpool because I think
but
those are the ones that
that's
actually
the
hurt this movie the most.
that's but that's where we run into the problem of, is this the Odyssey or is this the story of Penelope and Telemachus?
I mean, it can be both. I mean, if I
But
was
no, no,
going
no,
to
no.
put it,
I mean, as a trailer, you're putting out the product. You're calling something the Odyssey, and yet
yeah.
most of your shots are of Telemachus and Penelope in a room full of these suitors. It's like, where's the Odyssey in this?
Well, what if, let's hypothetically, because we don't know what this movie looks like, we haven't seen it. What if that was the case? What if this was the story of Telemachus and Penelope and all these suitors, and all of the Odysseus parts were cutaways, like
I
to
would be
show
perfectly
references
fine
in
with
time?
that. You do not call it the Odyssey then.
I I would be okay calling it the Odyssey because that is the source material, right?
Yes, but you are not following what the
No, no,
source
not
material is
verbatim, no.
actually doing.
But we'll
So,
call it a liberal interpretation, you know?
a
But
liberal interpretation. uh,
that would be it would be like imagine imagine Lord of the Rings, right? And the Battle of Helm's Deep. If I made my own movie, right? I got the license and I did the Battle of Helm's Deep, but it only followed Theoden and the rest of the cast was only in it during the important parts that they were in for the Battle of Helm's Deep, the parts they were relevant to. Other than that,
Mhm.
before Theoden, after it was Theoden, and then cutaways at important scenes to show what they're doing and how they're influencing that. I would still call that the Lord of the Rings,
No,
with
no,
Thing, you
no,
know,
no, I would not call it
because
The Lord of the Rings
it's
because
based
you
in that.
it's based in it, but it is no longer the story. You can definitely say a tale from The Lord of the Rings or a tale of Middle Earth,
Yeah, that's
possibly.
fair. That's fair.
Uh,
I could see the Lord of the Rings colon the battle for Helm's Deep, or Lord of the Rings colon
Yeah.
the story of um whatever the name was that you said.
See, and you could do that as like a marketing thing, but I think that is this is just me, the writer sense of me. Um, that is very dishonest as to what the story actually is, because yes, is it a tale inside of another tale that happens to be called Lord of the Rings? Yes, but the Lord of the Rings is about the Lord of the Rings. It's about Sauron and that ultimate battle with the ring.
Yeah,
If
you're
you're
right. It
only,
should be hyphenated. Like it should be the Odyssey hyphen Telemachus's trials or something like that.
I could see it being something called like The Suitors, an Odyssey tale, or a tale from the Odyssey.
Yeah, you're right.
I'd be
I'm
totally
I'm
okay
trying to
with the Odyssey colon Telemachus's tale or whatever if we were going that route. if there was also the agreement that they were going to make these other stories of the Odyssey, and so
Okay.
each movie is like, oh, this one's Telemachus's tale, but this one is this piece of the Odyssey, and this one is this one, and so like
And
as you
actually,
watch
that's
all of
not
them,
a
that could
That
be
would be a
bad way
cool.
cool
to
way to
go.
do it.
That would be a great way to do it.
Yeah.
Especially like breaking it up into parts, so you could focus on the because we're talking about an epic here. It's not. It, I don't think it's meant to be taken in one shot. These epics.
No, not at all.
If I'm remembering correctly, the entire story was is not particularly long. It definitely takes longer to read than the like 3 hour runtime that this movie will be.
The meat of the story isn't dense. It's the additional information that goes in it. It's like reading Beowulf. If you read Beowulf, the story is extremely like short and to the point, but the additional details that they add, like, oh, look at this sword. This sword comes from here, and it was made by this guy who lived here and then did this thing.
Right.
The details that they expand on is where a lot of the meat comes from.
Well, and forgive me because this was high school and like 20 years ago, but my recollection of reading the story, a lot of it was extremely short and to the point. It was like this battle happened. It
Yeah.
doesn't go into great detail of how the clash happened. It was like this battle happened, people died, but they were victorious or something. Um, and so when you take that and make it into a movie, obviously you're not going to have a 3 second battle and be like, that's it. We got to keep on time with the book, so we only
Well,
get 3 seconds for it. They're going to expand on that, which means the bulk of the story actually gets lost because it needs to be kind of expanded upon.
well, it wasn't like written in like as like you were alluding to. It's not like a modern book would do it, where like every action is detailed and whatnot. But the character interactions were detailed. Like every part of the journey had its details to it, which um, uh, works for the epic. With cinematography, you would want to linger and um, sort of engross the reader because um, like we're talking about very interesting islands that they're going to,
Yes.
um, and you would want to immerse the viewer in the adventure of it. Like just having like 15 minutes to do the island of Circe, let's say, it is going to be a bit jarring. You need a little bit more time for the setup and the suspense of being on an island with a witch who is going to turn the men into pigs. And then how do they get out of that? That seems to me a bit more than 15 minutes worth. Uh,
I'm gonna say now, if anybody who does see this is interested in this story, Overly Sarcastic Productions, the girl who co-hosts it, Red,
Red, yeah.
in 15 minutes, give or take, has done this story far more justice than this guy can probably do with a 5-hour movie. And it is wildly entertaining and very detailed. So if
What
you
did you
are
say the
interested in
name was
more,
of that? Because I hadn't heard of
overly
this
sar-
before.
overly sarcastic productions. They're great. It's
Okay.
red and blue.
yeah,
Okay, a
it
really
is an
sarcastic.
excellent breakdown of it, like short to the point. The animations that they do, she draws them herself. They're excellent.
Fantastic. I'll have to look into those. Guys, we have 11 seconds left in the video. Should we trudge
Yeah, because
on?
I think there is one more clip it shows towards the end. I just can't
I
tell what
think
it is.
so.
I'm excited. Reveal.
I think it's asleep.
That
It
was
was awful.
that was awful. No. Why? Why?
If that didn't
Why?
get you excited to see this movie, I don't know what will, honestly.
I think it's asleep. God, what? I was thinking that maybe in this last 11 seconds there would be something like some epic reveal, some twist, something to make it to awe, leave us in awe at the end. What a disappointment. I was
They ended it with
I'm
a
going to clip
joke.
that. I'm
we
gonna clip that, and from now on, whenever I see someone say, "You make AI slop," I'm gonna just clip that right into there.
we stopped at that
Uh,
point for so long that it built up in my mind that, whatever's left must be
This is gonna be the cool
really
thing. That's
good.
the thing, you wanna leave them on a high note. That's their high note.
I think it's
oh,
asleep. That's it. Oh man.
Like, there was other stuff in this trailer they could have put there. The
yes.
guys I can't remember the suitor's name, but the suitor slamming Telemachus down and holding the knife to his neck would have been a better place to end it, you
Oh
know?
yeah. Especially for the tone. Like the tone has been serious all the way through, and they ended on a joke.
And not
Well,
a very good one. It was like a Family Guy cutaway. It was awful. Actually,
Oh.
that's a disservice. Family Guy does it better. They're thought out.
they just
They at least
wanted
have,
to
like, a good reference.
they wanted to make sure to try and bring in the people that are the Marvel fans, the MCU fans that just love those silly joke humors. And don't get me wrong, I like the first three phases, I think is what they're called, the first three phases of
Yes.
MCU.
Yeah.
But that felt so not fitting to the tone of
Yeah.
this movie.
If anything, it should have been something, like, overly serious, like him standing on the
Absolutely.
prow of the trireme, like, overlooking an island, Something, or better yet, him on that trireme when they first get home overlooking, like, Thebes would I think it's
Oh, yeah.
that would have been
Well,
killer.
Uh, I personally would think like an epic shot, like maybe, just maybe. I know that Hollywood doesn't like the gods, but maybe having him stand at the prow and looking up as Poseidon rises from the ocean.
Yeah. Zeus looking down because Zeus kinda gave him a little bit of hell as well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Just
basically,
something.
basically anything would have been better than the
Yes.
very dark
Absolutely.
scene, again another very dark scene where you can barely see what's happening, and a, an
A
attempt at a
joke.
joke.
Yeah. Like, and that joke wouldn't be terrible in, like, a super heavy movie where it's just, like, constantly, like, dogging on you with weight, because you gotta break that up a little bit, just throw in a punchline here and there just to
I,
so it doesn't beat you down the whole time, but I
I
don't feel like that's what
I
this
think
movie
it's
is
the
gonna be.
delivery. I really think it's the delivery there. The way he says, "I think it's asleep," is almost exaggerated to the point for comedic effect. And I'm like, Odysseus at this point would not be trying to make a joke.
No.
I could see that about it being used for a momentary levity in a movie that is already very serious. And I think it could work. What makes it so that it won't work though is that they've now shown it before the movie.
Yeah.
Like if if I hadn't watched the trailer and I watched the movie, then maybe that levity would work. But knowing
You
that
might
it's
have got a
coming,
chuckle.
seeing that it's coming now, like out of the context of a very serious scene or a very serious, I don't know, like half an hour or whatever, where that might be appropriate, it's just a waste.
What if what if I'm spitballing here. What if this trailer is all the serious shots and the rest of the movie is just cutaways and gag fests, like a Family Guy episode?
Please don't
That would
even
be
joke about
so
that.
it would be so much better than what they're trying to do though. Because at least then okay, they're poking fun at it, you know what I mean? Like, okay, they had an idea and they're giving it a giggle. Um, Eric the Viking, have you guys ever seen that one?
Mm-mm.
It's very
I
much
haven't.
in the vein of the Odyssey. about a Viking who's trying to sail to Valhalla, like physically. And it's an older comedy movie, and I cannot say some of the jokes that are in it because they are quite raunchy and way too raunchy for YouTube. But it's very serious acting in like a Leslie Nielsen kind of way, but just the dumbest scenarios that you could possibly imagine. And the delivery is excellent because it's deadpan like Airplane. It is an amazing movie. Actually, you know what? Watch Eric the Viking instead of this. You'll have a way better time. That movie is like 30 years old and it is still peak.
All right, guys. I hate to be the time cruncher, but we are at 2 hours and 11 minutes of recording so far.
Excellent.
We were aiming for an hour. We doubled it because we're that good. So be I do want to let you give everyone an opportunity though to say any sort of last thoughts or get something out if they want to about this trailer. So if you have any last thoughts, go for it.
I think the takeaway is that all controversy aside, this is going to be a very forgettable movie. This is going to be something that you will turn on when it's like out of theaters on television. You're going to watch it once, say, okay, that was neat, and then never think about it again. That's my
Uh,
honest take from this trailer. It's just going to be generic, like it happens to be on like TNN in the middle of the day.
mm. I'm getting very much like aside from the controversies and whatnot, I'm definitely getting a boring film just because of how it's shot, like was presented here. Like this is supposed to be the best shots that they're presenting. This is supposed to be the highlights, and everything is dull or dark. And uh, 3 hours of this, I can see many people in the audience going to sleep.
I hope you guys are right. I hope you're both right with that. And the reason why is because in October, my wife and I are going to be flying, taking a trip, and I always find it very difficult to fall asleep on planes. So I look forward to putting this on a plane and letting it lull
Puts me
me to
right out.
sleep. Because I'm certainly not going to pay money to watch this movie. I
Oh,
will
absolutely not.
watch it when it inevitably goes to the planes very quickly after release.
Oh yeah. Well,
This
there
will be
you
in
have
the
it, people.
discount bins very quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Along with a lot of other Hollywood films that have come out recently.
Guys, I think we're the media now.
We're the media now. All right, so we're all gonna be we'll all be marked as collaborators on this video. But let's each real quick as we close out give another reminder of our channels or our links or whatever, and then we can close it up. I'm Teddy
Okay.
Grizz. I'll just remind everyone I'm Teddy Grizz. I was the silent one most of this time because these two knew a lot more about this topic than like I knew they would know a lot, but this was a lot more than I expected. It was very interesting listening to them. And I am Teddy Grizz VT basically everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and X. Teddy Grizz VT, and I do mostly reaction content, but now some podcasts too. Check me out.
And I am Gleeman. You can find me at a Gleeman for YouTube, and I have my X account listed there as well. I do mostly breakdowns of AI videos. I also do responses for philosophy and theology, things that I'm interested in, as well as doing some music, putting out some music with lyric videos. So you can find me in the link and give me a listen or give me a watch.
I'm Rhino Rocks at Rhino Rocks 88 on YouTube, and I make AI music with handwritten lyrics, and occasionally I do reacts with cool guys like this.
All right, we did it. Everyone that's still here, thank you so much for watching and listening, and I hope you all have a great day. Till next time. Bye.
Till next
Bye-bye.
time.